have in the studio with me the CEO of Alansaar Foundation and Radio Alansaar as well, and he's going to be talking to us a bit about Ahmed Shuaib Musa. Yunus Saqoor, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair for joining me in the studio this afternoon in what is a not too happy occasion for us.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and thank you, Faisal, for inviting me to take part in this very noble tribute to an outstanding individual, marhum Shuaib Ahmed Musa. We knew him very well in the Alansaar Foundation and the Media Network. On behalf of the board of the Alansaar Foundation and Media Network, our chair mentioned briefly that Shuaib is part of Alansaar. He's always been part of Alansaar. And it is indeed a great loss to us because Shuaib was a humanitarian of high note. But I just want to spend a minute to read out a message Shuaib sent a few weeks ago on his in a group chat, a very pertinent message from an outstanding individual. You know, normally we have people that are wealthy or they're educated, but very seldom you get individuals that understand what humanitarian work is. And Shuaib understood this to the fullest. He sent this message, and I'll read it out because it's a very thought-provoking message. He said, spend your time wisely. Know that your time on earth could end at any moment. Let this reminder make you reflect on the important things of your life. How will the things you do affect your hereafter? Mm-hmm. Start making positive changes. Do much good deeds. Spread love. Be helpful. Stand for justice and speak up when you see injustice. Love for others what you love for yourself. Make those around you happy and try to lighten their burden by helping them as much as you can. That is, make du'as and pray. Always, always, always turn to Allah. He stressed this point. Mm-hmm. The best of listeners, the knower of the unseen, the best of planners, and remember everything we have been through, that is nothing compared to what our brothers and sisters around the world are going through. Alhamdulillah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them goodness in this world and in the hereafter will inshallah prepare us for moments that is yet to come. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Now this was a message we sent to all his colleagues a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And he sent another pertinent message which I thought will be appropriate to read. He says, Ya Allah, I'm putting my whole life in your hands now. I don't know what's good for me and I don't know where life is taking me. I'm letting go. I surrender to Qadr. I trust you take care of everything. So, Brother Shuaib, certainly he was unwell, you know, with cancer, but he accepted this plight that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed him on, and he was ever ready to really give support and advices to everybody. Mm-hmm. Now, I recall Shuaib during three important events that took place in the last few years where he was a true leader. This is firstly during COVID time. Mm-hmm. Now, Shuaib was relentless in his support for those that were suffering with COVID, and he actually initiated a lot of medical relief for those who were affected by COVID, particularly in the Ahmad Al-Qadi Hospital, where he initiated the process of organizing temporary wards for those that there was no place for them. Mm-hmm. And he also ensured that he provided medical assistance to those that were indigent. Then came the unrest. Now, we know during the unrest, all the shops were closed and there was an extreme shortage of commodities, mm-hmm. particularly bread and milk. Mm-hmm. All the shops were closed. And Shuaib mentioned to me, he was on air with me many times during that period, and he said that no matter what amount of money he had or anybody had, they couldn't get bread and milk. Mm-hmm. And millionaires were coming and looking for the commodity. Yeah. So he took it upon himself to go and meet with the bakeries and the dairies to see whether they can specially provide those for relief. And thousands of tons of milk and bread he managed to source. And through the NMJ Center, he distributed it to all the NGOs for distribution. And Alansaar Foundation was one of the organizations that also got assistance to distribute it. And he was relentless throughout the country. Mm-hmm. We know during Muharram, his target was feeding 100,000 families. And the last Muharram, he achieved that objective. And then during the floods, and His assistance to the various organizations was testimony to the number of people that attended his janazah this morning at Masjid al-Salam. And it was packed to capacity.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of tributes pouring in for Ahmad Shuaib Musa. But what stands out is he was more than just a benefactor. He was a mentor to many people. He was a role model and a source of profound guidance who all knew him. His legacy of kindness, generosity, and wisdom will continue to inspire and guide us. He taught many people, and that's what's coming out through the tributes. The true meaning of compassion, his actions reflected the highest values of humanity. And I know you'll sort of agree with me that whenever we approach Shuaib for any assistance, he never turned anybody down.
Definitely not, yeah.
So the organizations that were present at his funeral is testimony to the fact that even the ulama, like Mufti Mang mentioned, he's deeply saddened by the loss of an extraordinary individual who passed away peacefully in Durban. Now, a remarkable soul, pillar of strength, kind heart, genuine friend, Shuaib leaves behind a legacy of compassion, generosity, and community service. So my message to our listeners out there, that here's a classic example of an individual that was the chief operating officer of a huge organization, we know the Willoton Group. Yet he chose the humanitarian work so he can prepare for his hereafter. So on behalf of the board of the Alansaar Foundation management and staff, I'd like to, express our heartfelt condolences to his loved ones, particularly his father, Akbar Musa, who was a tower of strength for him, his brother Zubair Musa, whom we interact very closely with, his mother and his sister from Dubai. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provide them comfort and solace during the difficult time. And may Allah grant Marhum Shuaib forgiveness, mercy, and the highest ranks of paradise. He certainly left this world in the form of a shuhada, a Shuaib martaba. And like his name suggests, so we must continue with his legacy and make du'as for him and ensure that his family continues with the good work, and we certainly are aware they will. So Faisal, you may want to comment.
No, definitely. In fact, you've encompassed everything, encapsulated everything very well. Because what I loved about Shuaib was his humility. Notwithstanding his ranks, etc., etc., he was a humble human being. He always had that smile on his face. And as you said, never ever refused anybody any form of assistance whatsoever. But at the same time, he was he was an intellect, if you know what I'm saying. He knew what he was doing. He had everything well planned out, and he was somebody that I admired very much, and many others admired as well. And as you say, the tributes have been pouring in from all angles. I mean, this morning I read a tribute that came in from the Western Province Cricket Union. And he loved his cricket, and he invested in cricket as well. And there was some remarkable stuff that's been said. And as time goes, unfortunately, time does not permit us to read out all these tributes. I would have loved to have read them, because they are a true reflection of who he was. They mention who he was, and the thing that comes across right through is his humanitarian tendencies. I mean, he was there for the upliftment of the community, and always willing to assist, and also trying to create. I'm just trying to get that right. He was very innovative, if I can put it that way. He wanted to see how he could uplift people, how he could empower people, and I think that was something that that stands out. And as I said, his humility is something that stands out for me as well.
Well, what he leaves behind is his legacy for his family, and his brother Zubair Musa is a remarkable individual. We've interacted with him during Shuaib's illness, and he indicated to us that whatever commitment Shuaib made, he will fulfill it. And obviously, it reminds us that, and from the message that I read that Shuaib sent out, before he passed away, that Allah is the best planner.
Absolutely.
Prepare for the qabr. Now, it's a reminder. But one important, aspect of Shuaib was his respect for the ulama. He called up regularly meetings with ulama, asking people to attend and get guidance from the ulama. He was very close to the Jamiatul Ulama KZN, Gauteng. He was very close to UQSA. He was very close to various organizations. Whenever the ulama needed any support or assistance, his family and himself were ever willing to assist. And nobody would go to Shoaib and his family without anything in return. Because I know that many a function we have people approaching the family for support, and we know that our media network offices and station in Piamberg is in the property of the Willerton Group. And I interacted closely with Shoaib to ensure that that particular media offices are fully functional. And you and I, Faisal, we've been around for a good couple of weeks, where we know that there will be live programs coming out of Peter Marisburg, and it is in the property of the Willerton Group. So this was the interest of the family in humanitarian work, disseminating valuable information for the benefit of people. And the family didn't discriminate and only help Muslims. They help people from all walks of life.
Absolutely.
You mentioned now cricket. There is a development of cricket at grassroots level. They contributed to the development. So Alhamdulillah, here's an example of an individual that he knew that, like us all, death is inevitable, but his focus in a difficult circumstances was to give the right message to the people in the message that I read out. So it's a huge loss, but the legacy we must follow. And it's an example for us that while we are still living, understand that we've got a role to play in society. And I like to reflect on the words of Imran Khan, the former president of Pakistan, where he says that to give money is easy, but to invest your time is not easy.
Absolutely.
So those individuals that are involved in humanitarian work and the time they spend is very, very valuable. Because Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned something to the effect that the best of us are those that have good character and those that help others. Because you make it easy for others to survive. And must remember, those that are facing hardship or difficulty of any sort, you are there to assist them. And in the Willerton Group and the Musa family, that is highly prevalent. And we trust and we sort of are confident that the support that Shoaib rendered to all the communities, his brother Zubair and his family will continue to do so. And I'm sure humanity will benefit from Shoaib's sacrifices.
Absolutely. In fact, you see, there's tributes pouring in from the Medina Institute as well. Tribute pouring from an organization called Food Aid. And these will continue to pour in. Yunus, I think that's all we have time for. There is a WhatsApp message has come through, and it says that the path of self-rectification and righteousness can be a lonely one. Don't expect to have anyone to fall back on. Put all your trust and reliance in Almighty Allah. Only then you will feel true contentment. The closer you get to the Almighty, the more dunya you will lose in order to restore your iman. With the loss of dunya comes the attainment of the akhirah, inshallah. That's a message that comes which is pertinent to our discussion, alhamdulillah. And it comes from a sister, Shamim Hafaji. Jazakallah khair for that message. Yunus, I think that's all we have time for, unfortunately. So maybe we can just round up the discussion. All I can say is that may Allah SWT grant, Brother Ahmad Shaykh complete maghfirah, grant him the highest stages in Jannatul Firdaus, fill his qabr with nur, clothe him the clothes of Jannah, and grant his family separate Jameen, inshallah.
Well, I just want to conclude by, articulating the remarks of our chair that, Shoaib was a remarkable individual. He's part of the Alansaar Foundation. He's part of the group. Because of his busy schedule, he couldn't formally get involved. But when I bumped into Shoaib, when his son passed away at Al Hilal Cemetery, and Shoaib then said, I'm now a trustee of this the cemetery. But why not? Because he says this is our eternal abode. So I'd rather invest in my eternal abode and make sure that I play a role in ensuring that those that rest here, they rest peacefully, and one day I will rest here, and he is at the Al Hilal Cemetery. So he was willing to be involved in any aspect of work. And then I also want to articulate the comments of our deputy chair, Fahim Patel, who spent time with Shoaib during Hajj with Shoaib and his two daughters. And he says that he was in the train with Shoaib, and Shoaib was a remarkable individual, talking about the importance of Hajj. What is the benefit of Hajj and why we perform Hajj. And he was highly enthusiastic about being accepted to perform Hajj again. So our deputy chair also says we've lost, a pearl in our society, an individual of high note, an extraordinary individual, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him the highest stages in Jannatul Firdaus.
Ameen. Yunus, Jazakallah for availing yourself for the tribute. And Jazakallah khair for everything.
Shukran,
Thank you
Faisal.
for the time.